Hey guys, welcome back. Just another quick update on the car. I promised I'd update again once I got all the turbocharger stuff taken care of. And for the most part, it is all done now. So, here's how the oil feed turned out. Well, the adapter fittings here and here. So then a brand new 90 4AN through the oil filter that came with my 6262 turbo kit. Then down around to this braided line to the turbo, and that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with how that turned out. That's a pretty trick setup. It's not going to be near as prone to breakage as the factory oil feed is, so I'm pretty happy with that. And plus, I get the benefit of having this filter on there, so that's nice. Again, the turbo's all done, and the new part, I need some light, is the Muse O2 dump came in, and I got that installed. Fitment's pretty good, like pretty good for an aftermarket piece. The welds look really nice on it, if you can see that. And then it dumps like right there, so you can see the end of it. It's pretty much right in front of the oil pan. If you can see that. The light's really bad. It's kind of a rainy, nasty day today, so apologize for that. But yeah, the only issue that I'm having is this AC line didn't quite fit. You can see it hits there, doesn't even come close. So we're gonna bend that out. That's really not a big deal. Use a tube bender and bend it to where it'll fit again, and that'll be good. The only issue that I had with fitment on this was this flange was not machined very well. It looked like somebody used a belt sander probably to give it a flat surface, and instead of lifting straight off, they kind of did one of these where they pulled it off at an angle, and so it was kind of curved. But what I did was I used a real fine belt on a belt sander and sanded it off flat, and yeah, perfect. It looks pretty good. Before, I could slide a piece of paper in through this gap here, so it was a pretty big exhaust leak, but not anymore, so that's pretty good. And I think that'll sound pretty killer, so I'm excited. I'm really excited to get this car started up now. Everything is pretty much taken care of as far as the oil system and water systems go. I just have to get that AC line bent out, and I can reinstall the radiator and fill it with water. And then I'm just waiting on getting an oil cooler kit. Looks like I'm probably going to get the Mishimoto kit for the Evo 8.9. I've got an Evo 8 oil filter housing on this engine, so I can use an off-the-shelf Evo 8 oil cooler kit. I don't have to worry about the different size fittings. For those that don't know, the Evo 4 to 6 and the Evo 7 to 9 use different size banjo bolts to the oil lines on the oil filter housing. So you can't just use an Evo 8 kit on an Evo 4 engine. You actually do need to change the filter housing. Not a big deal, just something to note if you're going to do a conversion like this. So, but other than that, it should be a bolt-on kit. And for the few people that are actually doing a Mirage conversion, I will say that the oil cooler is a bolt-on item for the Mirage. All the mounts were there, just bolted up, so you will be good. Other than that, I've got a couple of new things to show you guys. One is I found these adapters online, which are pretty much good for anybody with a Mitsubishi that uses this type of fuel filter. This is an Earl's adapter. It goes from, let me see here, I think it was M10. Yep, M10 125 thread pitch is the stock banjo bolt size for that fuel filter, and then it gives me a -6 out. So it's pretty good setup. I'm pretty happy I found the fitting here, or the fitting. Here's the fitting number. if you're interested in adding one of these fittings to your car. That just lets me use the stock fuel system, but have an AN hose from the filter up to the fuel rail. At this point, I was thinking about running PTFE lines, but I know you have to have special fittings for that, and these fittings aren't compatible. And I don't believe they make an M10 125 to -6 for PTFE. So I'm probably just going to run Russell Pro Classic 2 hose, which I've already got a little bit of the Pro Classic stuff that came with the STM fuel pressure regulator kit, and it's pretty good quality stuff. They say that fuel vapor is an issue if you keep the car in the garage, and I do, but I can't imagine it'd be any worse than the stock fuel lines, so I guess we'll just see. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, that'll be the plan, is to run Russell Pro Classic 2 line, and yeah, should be good. So I've got my random box of fuel equipment in here. I've already got some of the stuff. You see, I've got the Pro Classic 2 hose, the small section, or this is just the Pro Classic 1 actually, hose that came with my STM kit, so I can use that. And then they include a fair few fittings, and then some of these I bought myself. So pretty nice looking stuff come with the kit. Won't be using this because I'll be using an AN fuel rail. But this is all stuff that to work on my dual fuel pump system for later. I'll probably mess with that next year. For now, I just want to get the thing running, so we'll just do that and see where we end up. Hopefully this thing will run and be running pretty well and for a long time. Also, I finished the clutch last night. We bent out a new lower clutch line. The original one was fine, but in the several years since I bought this car, it was misplaced, so I have no idea where it went. That's how it goes. But bent a new line out. That was no big deal, and bled the clutch last night. And I gotta say, the Act 2100 HD is a heavy clutch, so it's far heavier than anything that I've had before. So we'll see how that goes. I think I could actually get used to it and really enjoy using it, so we'll just see. Also, I found something out while doing research on running AN fittings on this car. I wanted to replace as many stock lines as I can with AN fittings, and one of the plans that I've kind of been thinking about for a while is using the stock feed line as a return line once I go double pumper. So when I get the dual Wally 255 setup done, it's going to be the two 255s, both with -6 outlets into, and I believe I've got the fitting up here. I don't have the part number for you guys on it, which I apologize about, but it is, let me see here, in this big mess of a box here. Let's see, these are part of it. Should be a Y fitting in here somewhere. I'll find it. So many things. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh no, I'm losing stuff. But yeah, so I've got a 2-6 focus camera. There we go. 2-6 into a single -8 outlet. So how it'll work is it'll be the two fuel pumps in their hangers with -6 outlets. You saw the two L fittings in here. So these will run through the stock housing, I guess. The lower section of these will get, well, here you go. This is what it'll look like completed. So you've got two nuts that will hold onto the stock housing, which I need to figure out a way to run O-rings, whether or not I'm going to cut and use this top section or if I'm going to run the plate through here. I'm not sure yet. But then this barb fitting will be inside, and that'll be what connects to the fuel pump. So like this. I guess. And then those 2-6 outlets will run through these check valves to keep them from flowing into each other. And I don't think the part number's actually on there. If I can get the camera to focus. It's being a huge pain today. Oh, there we go. So it'll run through the check valves, and that'll keep them from flowing backwards into each other. And then it'll run into a big single -8 line all the way to the front. Which will flow straight into the fuel rail. And then that'll be the stock feed. And then for the return, I've got -6 hardware, which will come out of the rail, which I haven't bought yet. It'll run into the fuel lab pressure regulator. And then right now it's just run through a standard return hose here, which I need to clean up a little bit, I know. But eventually it'll be a -6 return down to the stock feed, and then that'll run all the way back. But the big issue was I needed to find a way to convert the stock feed to AN. So I did some research online, and I believe it's Radium Engineering actually sells a fitting that goes where that fuel filter would be. It screws onto that stock, what's the name of those fittings? It screws onto the stock fitting there, and then it converts it to -6. So engine bay side, that was easy, but the biggest problem is in the bay, or at the tank, from the stock feed to the tank, you've got these quick disconnects. And I really didn't know anything about the quick disconnect fittings. I'd never even seen them before, because, like I said before, I'm relatively new. This is my first car build that I've done, so I've not really seen these before. So I took this stock hose, which runs on this end. It's the fuel sender, and then this end, or no, I'm sorry, this end goes to the actual sender. This end went to the stock fuel line under the car. So I took this hose to an auto parts store, where I have a buddy that works there, and we did some research and found out that these are essentially GM 5/16 quick disconnects. So, and you can get the repair kits at pretty much any auto parts store. You just have to know that it's a GM 5/16 quick disconnect fitting. That's not a big deal. But again, I wanted to convert it to AN, so I came home and did some research. I found these. Vibrant makes them, and they're a really cool fitting. Get this open here, which is incredibly difficult to do with one hand. So this is something I'm pretty excited about, because this doesn't just work for Mirage, guys. This works for pretty much any Mitsubishi, be it Evo 8, 9, 1G, 2G DSM. I believe they all use a 5/16 quick disconnect. And I shouldn't have thrown that hose yet. Where'd it go? I know it's laying like right here. Well, maybe, maybe not. Well, regardless, I was going to show it to you, but basically this plastic fitting inside the quick disconnect is the exact same fitting. It snaps right into the stock line, and the internal diameters are the exact same. So, I mean, it's the same fitting. You can use these fittings to convert your stock fuel system completely to AN, which is a really cool thing. I bought 2 of them, so the plan is to recreate that stock line that I just showed you with AN fittings, and that'll give me an AN fuel system at the back for now, which will be a lot better than that stock hose, because that thing is pretty dry rotted. And for the future, when I do the double pumper, I'll already have the AN fitting to be able to just convert it over to AN. So it's a win-win. I'm pretty excited about having found that out, so I hope it's useful to somebody. I know my videos aren't very professional and it's kind of tedious, a lot of technical information, but like I said, I think it'll really benefit people in the long run. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I can show you guys. I think it'll benefit people in the long run. My experience with these cars has been there's really not a whole lot of support out there as far as aftermarket stuff goes. Plenty of people make aftermarket parts, but there's not a whole lot of information out there on what fittings do or don't work. So my goal is to try to kind of get that information out there so that people will start to know, hey, you know, there's things that you can do with these. You can see it clicks right in. Probably can't see down in there too well, but the hose diameter is exactly the same. So that is exactly the fitting that you need if you want to convert your stock fuel system over to AN, or if you want to do like what I'm planning on doing, and build or use the stock fuel line as a return later on. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and this ended up being a bit longer, but I think it'll be good. Like I said, I'm pretty excited about having found out about these fuel fittings that Vibrant Performance makes. And here is the part number. Focus. It's not super focused, but good enough. But anyway, yeah, so hope that benefits you guys, and stay tuned. We'll actually be putting this stuff together here shortly, and it's going to be exciting. So we're getting pretty close to having this car ready to start, and hopefully within another 2 or 3 videos we'll be doing just that. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next time.